Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
And when I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo.
Stephen A. Smith has just shared his shocking verdict on the upcoming clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. On the other hand, Regis Prograis said he believes Terence Crawford has a shot in September, though he's not confident Crawford will win. He admitted it's tough to pick Crawford despite being a big fan, but acknowledged that everyone has a chance in a fight.
Feel like Terence Crawford has a shot in September?
Yeah, I think he got a shot. I wouldn't say he's gonna win, but everybody got a shot for sure. I think that I just, man, it's hard for me to say that Bud gonna win, bro. I'm a huge Crawford fan, bro. I've been a Crawford fan before I was supposed to fight him one time.
Moreover, Mikey Garcia said Canelo isn't as fast or aggressive and often fights in cruise control, which could allow Crawford to feel more comfortable. He praised Crawford's high ring IQ and believes that if Crawford boxes smart, switches stances, and keeps things complicated, he can win by decision. Garcia doesn't think Crawford will hurt Canelo, but sees him outboxing him to a points win. Ultimately, he picked Crawford to win by decision.
But this is a different matchup. Canelo's not as fast, not as aggressive. He kind of goes on cruise control. He's not one to use his strength as size to dominate all the time. Sometimes, like I said, just cruise control, which allows Crawford, I think, to fight a little bit more comfortable. Crawford's IQ, I think, is superb. So I'm actually thinking he might pull it off.
If you were Crawford, how would you fight Canelo?
Box, counterpunch, box, switch, from left-handed to right-handed, just make it complicated for Canelo, and win a decision. You're not gonna hurt him, so win a decision.
So who do you think's gonna win?
I think Crawford's gonna win.
You think Crawford?
I think Crawford's gonna win.
By decision?
By decision.
However, Stephen A. Smith firmly picked Terence Crawford to beat Canelo Alvarez by decision, saying he has no hesitation about it. He admitted he loves Canelo, but believes Crawford's boxing and movement can outpoint him. Smith criticized Canelo's reliance on throwing power shots, saying that style won't be effective against a skilled and mobile fighter like Crawford.
Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
And when I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this.
Stephen A. Smith further said Gervonta Davis's trainer, Calvin Ford, may have been the one who warned that Crawford could be in trouble if he chooses to engage with Canelo, who is naturally bigger and stronger. Smith emphasized that even if Crawford enters the ring at the same weight, Canelo is more experienced at that size and always comes fully prepared. He called Canelo a slower fighter, but praised Crawford's boxing skills, stance switching, jab, and movement. In the end, Smith predicted Crawford would outpoint Canelo due to speed, but didn't see a knockout happening.
I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always ready.
Always prepared.
He's always ready. He's always
that.
prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But I don't think he's gonna knock him out.
Yeah.
Moreover, Manny Pacquiao said that Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is a good fight, but he believes Canelo has the advantage because Crawford is moving up in weight. He advised Crawford to focus on maintaining and even improving his speed and strength, as it is difficult to go up to a higher weight and still keep the same speed. Pacquiao emphasized that speed is the key, saying Crawford should concentrate on his quickness, footwork, and increasing his power.
Canelo Crawford, good fight. Good fight. Canelo has advantage because Crawford moving up, but my advice to Crawford is like maintain the speed, improve the speed, and improve the strength, because it's hard to go up in high weight and maintain your speed. So speed is the key. Like he should focus on speed, footwork, and improve the power.
Moreover, Shane Mosley said he expects a great fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, noting both are highly skilled. However, he believes Canelo's size will be the deciding factor, pointing out that people often underestimate how big Canelo really is. While Crawford may be seen as the more talented boxer, Mosley emphasized that Canelo holds a 2-weight class advantage and predicted Canelo would win comfortably, though he still respects Crawford's abilities.
I think it'll be a great fight. I think both guys are great fighters, but I think Canelo's just too big, and you know they mistake him as being just a guy at 168, not a regular guy, and Crawford being the more talented. But that's not the case. They're both talented, but the only thing is Canelo has them by 2-weight division. So I think that Canelo beats him pretty easily. But we'll see. If Crawford does good, I mean, kudos to Crawford. You know, I'm happy for him. If he can pull off, great. But my mental, my mind's telling me that Canelo's going to probably beat him.
Mosley added that for Crawford to win, he might need to create a slower-paced fight with smart movement and distance control. He explained that using space doesn't mean running, and if Crawford can stay just outside the pocket and avoid heavy exchanges, he might pull off the upset. Still, Mosley leaned toward Canelo, praising Crawford as a real fighter, but warning that the jump in weight could be too much.
I think that maybe I don't have to be all the way boring, but it has to be boring spots. Yeah. So just because he's moving around and keeping his distance don't mean that he's running, right? Yeah. So if he can move and just stay a little bit outside the pocket long enough, then maybe he can win. But I'm thinking Canelo's gonna win. I think Canelo's gonna get a fight because Crawford is a fighter. He's a true fighter. He's a real fighter, but he's in a wrong weight division.
Robert Garcia said that many people are underestimating Terence Crawford because of the clear size difference between him and Canelo Alvarez, but he does not see it that way. He believes Crawford has what it takes to compete, including fast hands and smart footwork. While Canelo is powerful and very experienced, Garcia thinks Crawford's sharp timing and all-around ability make the fight very winnable for him. He explained that even though Canelo still gets victories, he no longer challenges himself or mixes things up the way he used to. Instead, Canelo seems to fight just hard enough to win, and Garcia believes that could allow Crawford to take the upper hand.
It's a fight that most of the people don't give Crawford a chance because of the size, but he's got skills, man. He's got skills. He's got good speed, good footwork. That's why I do give him a chance.
You do give Crawford.
I do give Crawford a chance, of course. You know, Canelo's last few fights, you know, he does his work. He gets work done, but
Garcia also shared that Canelo now looks like a fighter focused more on business than passion. He said in Canelo's most recent performance, he appeared slower, stood flat-footed, and depended more on single punches than pressure or combinations. Garcia thinks that lack of urgency could benefit Crawford, especially if he stays sharp and uses his movement wisely. Looking at where both men are in their careers, Garcia feels Crawford truly has a strong chance to win the fight.
But never does that little extra to please or to he knows he doesn't need to anymore, so he's just comfortable enough with just securing the win. He became a businessman, and I think that could be something in favor of Crawford that if he comes out in his best and good footwork, you know, Canelo is flat-footed. He you know, his last fight, especially against the runner, he was throwing one punch at a time. Didn't even try to be aggressive and get him into the ropes, throw combinations of 4 to 5 punches. He never even tried that. So I think at this stage, I am giving Crawford a big chance of maybe pulling it out.
Oscar De La Hoya questioned whether Crawford can keep Canelo off him for 12 rounds, but praised Crawford's intelligence, movement, and overall skill, traits he believes Canelo has struggled with in the past. He pointed to Canelo's issues with slick fighters and still views him as flat-footed and beatable by a mobile opponent.
It makes me think, I mean, how is Crawford gonna keep him away for 12 rounds? Canelo's gonna come at him hard. But then again, I think about Crawford's abilities and his IQ and his footwork, which Canelo cannot handle. And we know that for a fact. It happened with Bivol, it happened with Mayweather, who schooled him left and right with no problem. And Canelo was way stronger than Mayweather. So there's
Don't
a lot
you think Canelo's a better fighter than he was then? Today?
A better fight? Yeah, a little better. Yeah, his footwork is still the same. He's flat-footed.
De La Hoya also praised Crawford's composure under pressure, noting that unlike many fighters, Crawford doesn't fold. He stays calm and holds his ground. He called Crawford both tough and intelligent, saying his heart and ring IQ make the matchup with Canelo especially compelling.
Power's a lot. In this game, power means a lot. If you can't keep your guy off you, or you don't know how because it's too much pressure, I'm not saying Crawford is going to fold, but a lot of fighters, you know, they can't handle the pressure. And the one thing about Crawford is that he knows how to handle the pressure. He's a savvy boxer, you know, and he doesn't run, and he has that heart. He's a dog. He has that heart. You want to fight me? I'm going to fight you. But he's smart, so it's going to be interesting.
You say that.
Bill Haney described Canelo versus Crawford as the biggest fight in boxing today, claiming even Muhammad Ali would be talking about it. He applauded Crawford for stepping up, but cautioned that facing Canelo's size and power presents a serious challenge that goes beyond just boxing ability.
Man, come on, man, that's the biggest fight, you know what I mean, in boxing right now. Canelo and Crawford. Crawford stepping up. Man, it's so big, you got Muhammad over there saying something about it. That's how big it is. It came off the bench from the 60s, right, Muhammad? You go back in the 60s? Yeah, well, listen, Canelo is big. And shout out to Crawford stepping up. But does Crawford have to be worried about more things than just boxing? Absolutely.
Teofimo Lopez said that while he had been favoring Canelo, he now thinks Crawford might shock people. He explained that the spotlight is on Crawford, especially with fans eager to see how he performs after jumping 2 weight classes. Teofimo mentioned Crawford's fight against Majima last year as an important step, but also raised a red flag. He said Crawford's habit of only fighting once a year could be a major issue in a challenge of this size and intensity.
I've been saying Canelo, but I think Crawford might pull something, you know?
Why?
I think that the odds are in his favor as far as that, you know? The reason why people are going to tune in is not just because of Canelo, it's going to be mainly because of the Crawford. How is he going to do going up, you know, 2 more weight classes, you know? Especially after the Maldrima fight that he had in, last year? I think that's the problem, though. Crawford is fighting too many. He's not fighting a lot. He's fighting once every year. That's bad.
John Ryder expressed admiration for Terence Crawford's talent, saying that if anyone could beat Canelo, it would be him. However, he believes the size difference will be too much for Crawford to overcome. Reflecting on his own experience, Ryder said he landed solid shots on Canelo, but they had little effect. He believes Canelo's size and strength on fight night will be the key factors, making it a very tough challenge for Crawford.
If there's any man that could do it, it would be Terence Crawford, but I just think the sheer size of Canelo is going to be too much on the line.
So do you think size will be too much? I mean, you were in there with Canelo. You landed good shots and he took them, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent, but I think the size will be the factor on the night, and it'd just be too big, too strong.
Paddy Pimblett said he is a big fan of Terence Crawford and would support him in a fight against Canelo. Although he respects what Canelo has done, he admitted he is not too fond of him and would rather see Crawford win to bring some excitement to the boxing world. When asked for a prediction, Paddy said he is not certain how it would end because of the size difference, but he thinks it would likely go the distance and be decided by by the judges.
Terence Bud Crawford or Canelo? Who do you got in that one?
Well, I really like Terence Crawford, so I'd back him. You know what I mean? I like Canelo, but I'm not his biggest fan. I'd rather see Crawford win and shake up the boxing world a bit.
Do you think it'd be a decision, or you think you can put him out there?
I don't know. Canelo's a lot bigger than him, so more than likely be a decision.
Jim Lampley believes Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez if he follows a smart game plan built around speed, movement, and quick bursts of offense. He explained that this strategy demands excellent stamina, but Crawford's known for his top-level conditioning. Lampley said if Crawford stays focused and keeps up that pace for the full fight, he has a real chance to win.
You get out, get in, do damage, get out. And keep doing it over and over. It's an exhausting way to fight. You've got to have the conditioning to do it. But if Terence has the right conditioning, and he has never been under conditioned, he's always been in great shape. If Terence has the right condition and can get in and get out, oh heck yes, he has a chance to beat Canelo Alvarez.
Bruce Carrington fully supports Crawford, believing he has a strong chance to win. He highlighted Crawford's footwork, defensive skills, and smart technique as major challenges for Canelo. While noting Crawford sometimes slips defensively, Carrington said his skill can make Canelo chase him. He warned Crawford to be cautious of Canelo's powerful straight right hand against southpaws, especially when Crawford throws his right jab.
I'm going for Bud, 100%. Yeah. And I think that Bud has a huge chance of winning. His style is just, something that is going to be a huge problem for Canelo Alvarez. I feel like he has good enough feet to make Canelo have to run to him. I feel like he has good form and discipline with his defense, good enough. Because sometimes Bud, he has little lapses. But, and we've seen it in the Majimov fight, that what I would want Bud to look out for is that dip straight right hand when he's in a southpaw stance. If that comes at him from Canelo Alvarez, because he was caught by that a few times with Majimov. Whenever he would throw his right jab, Majimov would duck to his right and then throw his straight right hand and catch him straight on the line. And I noticed that Canelo is pretty good with that when it comes to fighting southpaw fighters. He dropped Austin Trout with that same shot.
Carrington also acknowledged the size difference, pointing out Canelo's natural size, knockout power, and experience as a 175-pound champ. Despite this, he thinks the fight will be decided by the better strategy, with Crawford likely winning by decision.
It's little things that you have to look at, and then on top of that, the obvious thing, the size. How Canelo's naturally bigger than Crawford. He packs a punch. He was a champion at 175. So if he's able to affect guys at that weight class, he's able to affect guys that's, his size or smaller. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's who's going to come with the best game plan. But I feel like naturally, Bud has a chance to win for sure.
So what's the most realistic scenario you think plays out in the fight?
Bud by decision.
Jerrell Miller said the matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is one of the biggest fights in the past 10 years. He admitted he used to think Canelo would be too big for Crawford, but was surprised by how strong Crawford looks now. After watching Crawford for years and knowing his wrestling background and discipline with managing weight, Miller believes this will be a tough challenge for Canelo. In the end, he thinks Crawford will come out with the win.
It's a great fight. I think it's like Turkey said, it's one of the biggest fights in the last 10 years. I'm surprised of how big Crawford is right now. Surprised. I said, I got love for both fighters. I've been around Crawford a lot more than Canelo, so I'm pushing for Crawford more. And I thought that Canelo would have been too big for Crawford. But then studying Crawford for so long over the years, come from a wrestling background. That's why he's never missed weight. He knows how to cut weight, knows how to put weight on. It's going to be a tough fight. It's not going to be an easy fight for Canelo. And I'm thinking Crawford's going to pull it off.
Tim Tszyu said both Canelo and Crawford are trying to assert dominance in different ways, creating an exciting clash of personalities. He feels Canelo has done a better job so far, backed by his impressive record. Still, Tszyu recognizes Crawford's strong belief in his own skills, which fuels his confidence.
Yeah, I think they're both trying to show the alpha and dominance in different ways, And it's funny to see one trying to boss each other, the other one trying to boss each other, So that's what happens when two megastars collide.
Who do you think's done a better job being that alpha male so far?
I think Canelo's doing good, but he's got the resume to back it up, while Crawford believes in his skills and abilities that much more. That's why he's backing himself so much.
Tim Tszyu was asked whether Canelo Alvarez could apply effective pressure on Terence Crawford in a possible matchup. He responded that it would depend on which version of Canelo enters the ring. Tszyu complimented Canelo, who faced Gennady Golovkin in their second meeting, calling that version the most impressive. However, he also said that the Canelo seen in more recent bouts has not looked the same. In his view, even though Crawford is 38, he still appears fresh and has avoided major punishment, which could be a key factor in this fight.
It's hard to say because it depends on the Canelo that comes out, you know, like the Canelo that fought Triple G in the second one. I thought that was probably the best Canelo that I've seen to date, but the Canelo that I've seen in recent years hasn't been the Canelo from the Triple G days, so that's what it's all about. But then again, Crawford's like 38 years old, but he's still fresh and he hasn't been hit. So that's the real question.
When asked to clarify what he meant by Canelo not appearing the same, Tszyu explained that the Mexican champion has grown too easy to read. He noted that Canelo tends to depend on a handful of powerful punches and often uses his physicality to control fights. But when facing someone like Crawford, who is known for high-level intelligence and technical ability, that approach may fall short. As for predictions, Tszyu gave Crawford a 65% chance of winning, indicating he slightly leans toward the unbeaten American.
I think he's just become predictable, you know. He's got these certain shots and he's used his brute force and physical strength to just bully everyone, you know. But right now in front of him, it's not someone that you can use your strength against because he's very, very smart, Crawford.
If you had to put a percentage on it, 50-50, 60-40 Crawford, 70-30 Canelo.
Yeah.
What do you put on it, Tim?
I'd go 65% Crawford.
Sergio Mora initially favored Canelo to win because he believes size plays a big role in boxing. Having followed Canelo's career closely, he thought Crawford was too small despite his undeniable skill. However, after seeing Crawford in person, Mora was impressed by how strong and tough he looked, noting Crawford's wrestling background adds to his toughness. He also praised Crawford's ability to switch stances and said if Crawford uses smart tactics like Bivol or Mayweather, good movement, a strong jab, and footwork, he could trouble Canelo.
I'm sorry, I say Canelo all day. Just size matters in this sport. I've been covering Canelo for a long time. Crawford is an incredible talent, but he's too small. You know, that's the thing that I kept thinking. Then I started seeing Crawford bulk up. I started seeing him in person, and you got to realize this guy has a wrestling background. He's stronger than he looks. I mean, he's an incredible fighter from both stances. And if he takes a little bit of a page of the Bivol of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and the guys that have given Canelo problems, movers, stickers, long jab, I can see Crawford doing all that. Crawford is a generational.
As the fight approaches, Mora is leaning toward Crawford, calling him a generational great. He doubts Crawford will score a knockout, but believes he can win by decision. Mora was unimpressed by Canelo's recent performance, especially his ring cutting. He described Crawford as smart and aggressive, using reach and ring IQ to land clean shots, and said Crawford's determination might just lead to an upset.
So now, the closer this fight gets, the more I'm starting to look at Crawford and be like, Crawford might beat him. Crawford might do something. I mean, he won't knock him out, but he won't. I think he'll win a decision. Nowadays, yeah. I think he'll probably win a decision.
You think he'll be able to take Canelo's power?
You know, I wasn't really, like many people, I wasn't impressed with Canelo's last fight, you know, cutting off the ring. And Bud's not a mover like that. He's not going to be running around the ring. So, but he is going to move, and he's going to watch out you from both sides. Going to use his length, going to use his reach, and he's mean. Bud is mean, man. Bud has a chip on his shoulder too. He's great as well. So yeah, the closer the fight gets, the more I start looking at Bud and be like, he might do it. He just might do it. Yeah,
that's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about Canelo versus Crawford upcoming clash? We would love to hear your thoughts on this. So share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.